entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey now, Spider Bros, Matt Haywood here to review Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or what I now like to call the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. Yeah, for really though, I think it is. There will be no major spoilers featured in this review, although if you know the Miles Morales Spider-Man origin story, then you already know a bit about how this flick begins. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse could very well go down as the best geek movie of the year, and I definitely think most fans of the web slinger will agree that it could also be the best Spider-Man movie ever produced in any format. I don't care that it's animated. In fact, the comic book alive approach it takes with its visual design is one of the main reasons why it's such a unique take on the tried and true Spider-Man origin tale, albeit with some multiverse action sprinkled in to make it even more Spider-Man-y. I wouldn't even dare describe the animation as motion comic-like, but it's not standard 3D animation either. The coloring is done in a way that borders on a cel-shaded aesthetic with a splash of old-school comic book coloring, complete with little dots of color to bring a page, or in this case, a film cell to life. It's as if you're watching a comic book being flicked through in real life, but the pages and their panels are also alive to tell the story in a more impactful and in-your-face manner. It's hard not to just watch this film in awe thanks to its unique visual presentation, and outside of a slow frame rate for motion at times, I could watch animated comic book movies like this all day long. Pretty moving pictures can only get an animated film so far though, but luckily the story and how the plot is executed in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse are even more well done than the visual design. Oh, and the audio and soundtrack are to die for as well. But back to the story. Like I mentioned earlier, I only knew of Miles Morales going into my screening. I wasn't that informed on his origins and his story in the Spideyverse, so getting to learn more about who he is and how he became Spider-Man was super refreshing, especially with how his story is told in this film. Within the first 20 minutes, Miles' story had me more emotionally wrecked than any comic book movie before Spider-Verse, and I loved the writers for it. The feels only continued throughout. I think I can count 3 distinct times where I man-choked some tears back. Both varieties too, sad tears and the happy kind. And this is an animated movie, people. Think about it. An animated comic book movie telling relatively the exact same Spider-Man origin story we've seen on screen for decades now was able to elicit emotional responses in a 38-year-old man that live-action comic book films have mostly been able to not do. This movie is special for that fact alone, but again, there are so many awesome ingredients contained within its recipe of excellence, it's hard to pinpoint just one factor that makes it so perfect. The entire voice cast is spot on, and seeing all the different Spider-Men and Gwens work together is magical. Peter B. Parker in particular stands out, as he and Miles experience the most personal growth throughout the film, but the others each have their own shining moments too. The comedy factor is also high, with plenty of great jokes woven throughout and more than a few funny moments to behold at every step of the way. There's a great unforeseen twist, at least if it wasn't already explored in the comics for Miles' story. Again, I only knew of him, but have never read any of his books, so I was genuinely shocked as Miles himself when this twist plays out. I honestly don't think I have a single bad thing to say about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I could get real anal and say that the slow frame rate during character motions can appear a bit weird at first, because the whole animation style is so fresh, your eyes and brain have to get used to its awesomeness a bit, but it's a minor inconvenience if anything else. I have to do it. I have to give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 10 out of 10 review score. I won't say it's perfect, and you may think that the score implies as much, but to me, it's at least without any major faults and deserving of the best review score I've handed out in 2018. You need to see this movie in theaters. Don't be silly and just go see it as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Matt Haywood here, signing off for entertainmentbuddha.com, where we make you a better geek one post at a time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, da 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 da.
entertainmentbuddha.com